I was 24, and I was in Australia actually. So I took my first international vacation, went over to visit a friend of mine, and she was driving the car. I was a passenger, and the vehicle went around unmarked hairpin turn and on a gravel road, and she couldn't control the car, and it flipped basically end to end 3 times, and the roof came down on my head, which is how I became a quadriplegic. So I'm what they call a C6-7 quadriplegic, and I had a 90-degree dislocation, so it severed my spinal cord. So I'm also what they call a complete quadriplegic, which means there's nothing functioning below the level of injury. A lot of people get confused about being a quadriplegic just because I have arm function. So, but I don't have any hand function, but I have very good arm function. So, normally I'm in a manual chair, and I can move around. I'm pretty independent. I live independently, and I was a software technician, and I was also a professional go-go dancer on the weekends at a nightclub, which was fun. And that was my passion, was dancing. Actually, I really enjoyed that. And I can say that's probably the only one thing that I miss now. It's just that nothing feels the same as I did with dancing. I love dancing a lot, so I miss that a lot still. Really, my family, I grew up in Vancouver, and all my family is here. So I have a very, close, big, large family. When I had my accident, I had lots of people come and visit me when I was in Australia. I was there in rehab, in acute care for about 2 months, and then they sent me home to GF Strong. And I kind of thought when I was going to go home, I was going to get up walking again, shortly after. So it wasn't until, probably quite a few months that I realized that, maybe that wasn't going to happen. When you think that there is possibly a cure out there. But I hired a guy who had very good intentions. I mean, don't get me wrong, right? And he thought that if my brain could remember how to walk again, that I would be able to walk again. So he would strap me to his back, and we would go for walks. Obviously, that didn't work. But I've definitely tried, a lot of things, hoping that that would, that it would happen. But, I have to say I've always been kind of a live in the moment kind of person anyways, which probably helped with me. I think when I first got hurt, I actually couldn't move my arms at all. So thankfully, I've been able to regain that slowly over time. It took probably, I would say, about 3 years to really start becoming independent again. I definitely made goals for myself. My most important thing was that I wanted to get back to work. And probably a lot of people just want to live the life that they had before they had their accident, and almost, I don't want to say pretend that it didn't happen, but try to just be as, quote unquote normal as you could be. So part of my rehab was, I went into work every Friday. And I'm really glad I did that because, I think if I was not working for, the year almost that I was in the hospital, I probably would have not had a job. But I was working, more than full-time hours. I always felt like I had to give more of myself because I had something to prove now, and I actually ended up getting double pneumonia. And it sort of woke me up, I guess. And so I decided that, working that much wasn't probably the best thing for me anymore.
What about when you were going through rehab when you got to GF Strong? Can you tell me a little bit about what that was like?
Well, I didn't have a very good time.
No.
I have to say. It was pretty hard for me because I was really independent. And it didn't really fit into the schedule, I guess, at the time. I sort of felt that, now, of course, this is just my opinion. I to preface,
This is
because
what
they
I'm
do
here asking
great
for.
things,
Yeah.
right? I had certain accomplishments that I wanted to make. You know, like one of them was I didn't want to have a leg bag. I wanted to learn how to do catheters, intermittent catheters.
Oh, cool.
They like refused to do it.
Really?
I had to learn it on my own with the occupational therapist, because the nursing staff was like, you're not going to do it. I felt like I was pigeonholed into
Really?
you're a quadriplegic, you should do things this way.
Hmm.
So I felt like on one hand, I had a really good experience with my physiotherapist and my occupational therapist, but with the nursing, I had a really, really hard time, and it was pretty upsetting.
Yeah.
I was in a lot of tears and very frustrated, and and I was also there for a really long time. And you have team meetings all the time.
Sure.
The problem that I would have is everybody is talking about you and the things that you're doing, and it's like, you don't have your own voice. Why can't I direct my own team meeting? These are my goals. I understand that it's really important to learn how to, do stretching or something like that. But I'm not going to do stretching anytime soon. I want to learn how to get in and out of a car. I don't care that you say that it's impractical. I noticed a lot, like I had a really good friend of mine, like very close to me, who was very opinionated in that she did not think that I should be having children, because how can you raise your child? Like, physically, you can't take care of it. I just always want to be like, this is my baby, and I had him, and he's mine, and I'm doing well,
Yeah.
It's only because, like, for me, whatever, but I just don't want it to be ever an issue with him, right? So I'm just so sensitive about it. Like, I never want, and then I, like, start thinking about, oh my God, when we go to school, to be able to have friends and have them not, like, think that I'm not the cool mom, So. Brad's family, my husband's family, because I think that they don't think that I do anything, because they always comment like, oh, Brad, you must be so tired. You have to take care of Teri and the baby. So I'm always like, Brad, I wish you would say something like, yeah, Teri's the one who has to be up with him actually in the nighttime. Because, I breastfeed him. So, he gets the baby and brings him to me, but I'm the one who has to be up with him.
And what do you think holds Brad back from saying something?
Well, I don't think he really realizes.
Just kind of...
And I do think, and like, he does work hard, and he does have more responsibilities than the average, like, dad, because I don't cook, so he has to cook the dinners, but there are things that I can do that he just does anyways, because it's easier. And that, to me, I have to say that's his responsibility, because if you want to take that on and do that too, that's your responsibility. Knowing that I can do it just fine, it just may take me longer. And with his parents, like, I just don't think he really realizes. I really feel like I want people to see me, that I am doing something, and I'm still like his mom, and still can give him love and hug him and play with him, and so, and I had a great pregnancy, I had a great delivery, all of that, but it was the after stuff that really affected me. Like, it took 3 months before I was really able to sit up for any length of time. I had 12 stitches.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, but I also had a forceps delivery. So it was rough, and I was, sorry for the graphic detail, but swollen up the size of a football, and I need to be able to see to do catheters, so I couldn't do that for a really long time. So I had to have a leg bag,
Did
which
that
I'm not
feel like
comfortable
you
with.
regressed? Did that bring things back to where you felt?
I didn't leave the house.
Yeah.
I didn't leave the house.
Did you feel depressed?
I don't think I didn't, but I was also, like, recovering from having given birth to a baby, so, and I was, like, breastfeeding him every 2 hours, so I kind of that caused a little bit of, frustration and, like, depression, because I felt like that was the only thing that I could do with him. And then as soon as I got that under control, then he was, like, eating solids, and I'm like, oh, great, now where do I fit in, right? But, and I still do breastfeed, but I can tell that it's going to be hard for me to stop that.